In case I didn't introduce myself earlier, my name is Marion Globe, and I'm a volunteer here at Alinea. And we have a very, very special service for you today because you get to be a part of it. So if you don't know, or if you do know, we've been doing a series called Blueprint on God's design for families. So we've been going through marriage, singleness, parenting. And you guys have been submitting questions via social media. We've also been taking them via QR code during a sermon. So today we're going to go through live all those Q&A, dive into scripture together, and talk about people who have had experience with these things. So if you will please join me in giving the most warm welcome to the stage, Pastor Jeremy and First Lady Jennifer Pickwell. I know I did it twice. I was told not to introduce her that way, but how are you guys doing this morning?
Check. Ooh.
I need another Dr. Pepper.
More caffeine for sure. Well, I'm so excited about it this morning because I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am about to have a baby. We're coming up very soon on that, and me and my husband of 6 years, everyone look at Jake. He loves for people to look at him. Yes. So this sermon is coming at a really cool time for me personally, and this Q&A, because I feel like I can ask you guys these things kind of in real time as I'm entering this.
And this
season.
is second service, so we can go as long as we want.
Oh yeah, so
I'm hungry, so that's not good.
I told you to pack a sandwich. I said this is a picnic lunch today, so hopefully everyone got that memo. Just kidding. But yes, we are so excited about it this morning. We did want to kick it off with some icebreaker questions. And because this is the second service, you guys kind of know what's coming on, but I did change it up a bit just because I didn't want you to be too comfortable. But just to kind of kick us off, get everyone warm and toasty and comfortable on stage, I'm going to ask you some questions that you're going to answer for each other. Same format as the first service.
I failed last time.
But this, I will say, the questions I think got a little bit harder. So
Great.
Here we go. Okay. What is a hidden talent that the other has that you would like to share with the class?
I don't know if it's a hidden talent. Do y'all know that Jeremy can sing? Do you all know
What?
this? Yes. And in my possession, I have a video of Jeremy singing Meatloaf in a Tennessee band uniform, the full thing.
We're not showing that
And we
today.
have it live to play right now.
No, we
What was
don't.
the song?
Was
it Meatloaf?
I would do anything for
I would
love.
do anything for, yeah. But I won't do that.
That's amazing. Anything for Jennifer? Hidden talent?
Hidden talent. She has a green thumb. She loves to get her hands in the dirt.
I do.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I also like to get poison ivy. I do it every year.
And she can belch me under the table.
Oh,
Jeremy!
this is the content we came for.
That is a major hidden talent. She's very good at it.
I will tell you, I can do better than my boys.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Give her a fresh Dr. Pepper and it's on.
Well,
Yeah.
Someone get her another Dr. Pepper. Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, what chore does the other hate the most?
I think Jeremy hates to clean bathrooms because that has become my permanent job. Yeah. You can't think of any, can you?
No, I know she hates to weed eat.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
So
it's because I hurt
like,
myself.
She mows, I usually end up weed eating. If she gets near, and this is another hidden talent, if she gets near poison ivy, she is covered from head to toe.
Yeah.
So I weed eat our bank and mow our bank because it's bad news if she does.
Yeah.
Very good. Who said I love you first? Yeah, I guess you guys can answer.
Probably me.
I was probably him.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no story. You don't remember.
We talked on the phone for months before we met.
Yes.
So how did you two meet? Why don't you give us that story as well?
I'm going to tell it this time.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
always say when
not
people
too
say, "How did you meet?" I say on the internet,
And that
and
is
she's
a
like,
lie.
"That is a lie." But the email lives on the internet, and so we met on the internet. And when AOL Instant Messenger first came out, and you put the disk in your computer.
That is how old we are.
You youngins have no idea what I'm talking about. I was literally. This is how desperate I was. I was looking for girls in my hometown that were around my age to meet through Instant Messenger. And so I met this girl named Abby.
Who was my best friend
Who was
from
her
middle
best
school.
friend. And Abby and I were just friends for 7 years. And Jennifer got stood up on a Valentine's Day.
It's true.
Abby emailed me and said, "You need to meet my best friend. She's a Christian. You're a Christian. You all be perfect for each other."
That's all it takes.
Which is
right?
code for she must have a nice personality. And so
You gotta be careful here. You better
I
tell a better story.
I emailed. This is the truth. I emailed and said, if you want to email me back, you can. Abby told me I should email you. You
don't have to if you don't want to.
Kind of a whatever. She emailed me back. I emailed her back and forth. Then all of a sudden, the little thing popped up like we were on at the same time, and it was like, oh my gosh, I can live chat.
I was in the computer lab at school.
Computer lab at school, and then we started chatting, and then we
Two $700 phone bills later.
Yes, yeah.
That's when it was only free after 9, y'all.
Yeah, and so we talked for 2 months. She flew down. We got a picture of the first time that she flew down. And and then she came to church with me the next Sunday. And do you have that? I don't know. That's a bad picture, but
That was like a film picture, y'all. That is not from a phone. That was like you take it to the store and you give them the roll.
yeah. And so we talked for 2 months. She flew down. I flew up on month 3 and proposed. That's a whole story I'm not going to go into, but it goes to say that she needs to eat. She needs to eat. If she doesn't eat, it's bad news.
He proposed to me while I was hangry, y'all.
Yeah. She's like, fine, give me the ring. Yes. Can I eat my nuggets now?
There was some perfectly good Chick-fil-A getting cold.
And then the more we talked, the more we were like, why are we putting this off? And 3 months later, we were married. So February, we met. February 14th, we got married August 15th.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love love.
It's not saying that we recommend only knowing each other for 6 months. That is not what we are saying.
Not what we're saying.
That's not the takeaway
No.
for today. Well, thank you guys for doing this. We're really, really excited. You ready to dive in?
Let's
Yes.
go.
Alrighty, so we've kind of divided this up into sections based on how people inputted their questions. So the first section we're going to go through is singleness. We actually had a good many questions come in, and they're all kind of the same flavor. So what I'm going to do is rapid fire them to you, and I'm going to let you guys kind of run with it. So here we go. What can I do? What tools can I use to stop discontent thoughts about being single and not being where I want to be in my life? How do I learn to trust him with this part of my life? How do I be still and wait for my future partner? Some days I feel like time is passing me by while I watch all my friends get married, and some days I feel doubtful and hopeless that I may not ever have a partner or husband. Do you know someone alive in this century who is happy or fulfilled in life while being single?
Those are tough ones.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
You can, or it's just
You go first. You go first.
Okay, I would say to not wish your life away. So while you are a single person, enjoy being a single person. The season you're in that you want to be out of always feels the longest. I can think of a lot of seasons we've been in that felt like they were so long. Yeah. But it's because I was thinking I wanted to be somewhere else. So yeah.
Yeah, don't wish your life away. I think there's a hidden phrase in there that I think applies to all of us is like, how do I trust God in this part of my life? And I think that is something that we will always ask ourselves at every season of our lives. Yeah. How do I trust God in this season of singleness? How do I trust God in this season of being a newlywed? How do I trust God in this season where I'm a widow or widower, or I'm divorced, or I'm an empty nester? You're always going to come back to that, like, how do I trust God in this season? And I think it's as Paul says, take the time being single and where you have a singular focus to focus on that. Like, how do you press into God in this season? And I will say this too. I may not be able to come up with a long list of people that are content while being single. I can come up with a long list of people that are discontent being married.
Yeah.
Because they got impatient and they didn't wait for the right person. And now they find themselves in a difficult situation.
And, I would say God's timing is perfect.
Yeah.
And I did get married pretty young, but I went to a Christian university in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I was with all of my roommates. Their whole thing, all the girls I lived with, they wanted to get married. That is why they were there. And I would have picked myself the last one. I'll be the last one to get married out of this group because these girls fell in love with every boy they met. I'm being for real.
She was like, I'm not getting married. I'm not having kids. I'm never marrying a pastor. I'm never marrying a music guy.
Now watch what you say.
Yeah. So she married a music pastor. Yeah.
But I didn't, the 4 years I was at that school, not one guy from my school ever asked me out. It was in the last semester of my senior year.
I would have asked you out.
You did. You asked me to marry. But I will say those 4 years of living with all those girls, that is like one of my favorite 4 years. Like I had 9 bridesmaids. Y'all, it's too many.
I ran out of groomsmen.
He did. His best man had to walk 2 girls down the aisle. Yeah. So anyway, it was like one of the best experiences of my life. And I will also say that there's a reason I didn't meet Jeremy until that time. It's because...
It would have been against the law.
Yeah. Y'all, he just turned 50, and I just want to say that he is 5 years older than me. We are not the same age. So it is not my 50th birthday. Not that anything's wrong with 50, but I'm not there yet.
Whatever. So when I was 20, you were what?
15.
Yeah, against the law. So it's in God's timing. I will say this, and I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I got it right. I think we struggle to name examples not because fulfilled single adults don't exist, but because the church has spent so much energy centered on marriage and family that we've inadvertently communicated that singleness is just a waiting room. And that's a failure on our part. It's not a verdict of the single life. And so I think it is very important, what you said is probably the most important, which is don't wish every season. Like we have a tendency of wishing every season of life away that we're in instead of finding contentment in that moment. It's like that scene from The Office. Wouldn't it be great to realize you're in the good old days in the moment you're in the good old days?
Yeah.
Like you always look back and look at those seasons of fondness.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so...
When we had 2 in diapers, y'all, I was thinking, is this ever going to end?
Is this ever going to end?
But now I would give anything to like rewind.
Yeah.
And get to be with those little boys again. Yeah.
There's 2 verses I want to give us for this. The enemy likes to put what you don't like right in front of your face. So when it's like this, I can't see anything around it. And what we have to do is we have to back up and get that out of our near vision and get perspective on what God is doing around us. And then you can start seeing the good things that God is doing in your life. And Paul tells us that whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things, which means if we're not thinking about these things and we're thinking about the lack, what we perceive as the lack in our season, we're not doing what Paul's called us to do. And there's something about the Christian faith that none of us like. And it's this one word, wait.
Yeah.
God's always asking us to wait. And I hate that. I will have a conversation when we get up there. Like, hey, can we have like sped this up? Mark Tribble, the guy who walked 2 girls down the aisle, I've got him on video going, thank you, Jennifer, for finally marrying him. I never met anybody that wanted to be married as much as Jeremy did. So she's like, great, he was just desperate. And they picked that. But yeah, just don't waste that. Don't waste that season.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really good. I think we all can get caught up, like you said, in that season of always wanting what's next or to be to the next season, that we forget what we have in this moment. So it's very good.
But I do know I'm not going to say names, but I know people who are single that are like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And you hear that a lot too, like that they didn't find their spouse until they realized they were good.
Right.
Like, I'm good. And then when they kind of like relaxed a little bit and then God was able to do what he needed to do, I think that's important.
You said it in the first sermon, the person you're looking for isn't the anecdote to...
Yes. Like if you're like, I know what it's like to be in that season and be like, I feel like a part of me is missing.
Yeah.
And then what we can be in danger of is thinking that that person is going to fill the hole that's in our life. Yeah. And man, I'm telling you, that's dangerous. It really is dangerous because you're always going to have some sense of discontentment. Paul talks about, like, I know how to be content in every situation. You got to figure that out in every situation, in every season of life. And if you're thinking, I remember, this might get a little too racy, but I'll say it. I remember a guy I was serving under in ministry when I was interning, and he was talking, and this is before computers and everything. I mean, he was talking about pornography, and he said, if you think marriage is going to solve a pornography issue, you're wrong. Like, if you think that's going to solve it, that's going to take care of it, and look at that in every aspect of your life, then you're missing what God wants to do in the season that you're in, and passing up what he's trying to do because you're focused elsewhere, going, well, that's the answer. And God's like, no, I've got the answer. I just need to do the deep work in your heart.
Very good. You should listen to the sermon on YouTube or Spotify from 2 weeks ago, and it even talks about marriage magnifies. It doesn't solve, it magnifies. Yeah. So speaking of marriage, why don't we jump into some of our marriage questions? The first one being, what does a truly Christ-centered marriage look like in daily life?
We get up and we pray together every morning.
We don't.
On our hands, and we just pray, and we don't do that. You want to go? You tell.
Yeah, I think the thing that we thankfully figured out early was that order is important.
Yeah.
So, and I know it sounds like a cop-out because I'm married to a pastor, but we go to church every Sunday, y'all. We give God our first fruit. Like, we do everything in order.
Yeah. I think order and lens, like, how do you view, what is your worldview? And so a Christ-centered marriage, therein lies Christ-centered. So we need to filter everything through the lens of Christ. And Paul tells us in Colossians that he kind of looks at this Christ life as like your wardrobe. It's like, okay, if you're going to walk into your walk-in closet, you need to put on some things that are part of the Christ life. Mm-hmm. And so as a believer and as a family or as a couple, what are you putting on a daily basis? And Paul tells us that we need to put on compassion, we need to put on kindness, we need to put on humility, and we need to put on gentleness and patience, and we need to forgive each other. And I think that's what a Christ-centered marriage looks like. It's not necessarily like a checklist of things. It's just how you approach life, the lens that you approach it through, the order that you've decided that you're going to do things. So everything gets filtered through that, right? How are we going to handle our money? Like, how are we going to handle conflict? How are we going to handle disappointment? That's what it means. And I joke about the prayer thing. I don't want you all to think that we're perfect, because we're not perfect.
Not. Yeah.
Like, I there's a lot of things I wish I could have done better. There's a lot of things I wish I was better. I wish I was a better father in a lot of particular areas. She's a perfect mother, so that's fine. So, but we did make prayer a commonplace in our home for, like, the big items. Like, we would pray with each other. I remember, I don't know if she remembers this. I remember I got in my truck. I was having the worst season. It was the worst. I can't go into detail, but it was such a bad season. And I got in the truck, and she knows when I'm the emotional one of the couple. She knew I was going through it. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and I could see her praying under her breath. Her lips were moving, and she was praying over me. And she was something like, God, exorcise this demon out of him, whatever's going on. And so we pray for each other, and we would get together and we would pray for each other for the big seasons, the big things. And talk about rhythms, like eating together and praying at bedtime and stuff.
Yeah, we do, like, this will feel weird to you, but we go to bed at the same time every night. Like, even if he's turning in and I'm not ready to go yet, and this is in full disclosure, I'm not ready to go because I take a pre-bedtime nap when we're watching TV at night. Does anybody else do that? Am I alone in this? Okay.
Yes.
It is the best sleep for me. It is the best. I will pretend to be awake but I am not. I will say dumb things about the show that we're watching just to make him try to think that I'm awake. I'm not awake.
And it doesn't work. I always know.
Yeah. We eat dinner together every night that we can. And like when our kids were little and it got a little hard, if something was added to the calendar and I noticed that it was going to knock us out of 4 nights or whatever, I would say, you're going to have to cut something because we're not eating as a family tonight or whatever. We walk together every night after dinner. If you drive through our neighborhood at about,
6:30,
6:37, we're walking.
Yeah. One's walking faster than the other, but it's okay.
So one's a slow walker.
It's not a race. It's not a race. No, this is good. I have the opportunity to be involved with the Young and Married small group that we have here. Subtle plug. If you guys are interested, let me know. But great group. And a lot of these questions and a lot of this advice is really good and things that we're talking about on a week by week basis. And so we've talked about, here's some things you can do. What about some things like you shouldn't do? So this question, looking back on couples who you have counseled, what do you wish more couples understood early in marriage? What are the biggest threats to long-term marriages that people underestimate?
One of the big ones is if you are dating someone who is not a believer and Christ is a part of your life, it is not going to be easy for you. Like we all pray that our spouse comes to know the Lord, but if we're going into it not that way, it's just a tougher thing.
Yeah. Don't underestimate being unequally yoked. It'll be the fight of your life, and I don't recommend it. I think not realizing that you truly are one.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the things that gets people in trouble in marriage is they try to keep their identity, if that makes sense. Like I'm going to be single. I'm going to try to keep my singleness because I love that part. But then also I'm going to try to straddle the fence and also be married.
Yeah, like if you are dating somebody and you plan on getting married and you're like, I don't want to combine my checking account with them. I don't trust them. That's a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't trust the other person with money, like how are you going to trust them with relationship? So you truly are leaving and cleaving, becoming one flesh. Like you've got to understand that. And so everything goes into that. Okay, we're making a new thing here.
Yeah.
Like that's not just like we're going to make a baby. We're talking about you're making a marriage union. It's a new thing.
We don't have like private lives apart from each other.
Yeah.
He's in every part of my life, and I'm in every part of his life. There's nothing off the table. He knows the password to every device I have. He can take my phone and look at it. I don't care.
Yeah. I had a lot of girlfriends, friends that were girls.
To clarify.
In college.
Subtle brag.
Yeah. And I didn't date, but I had a lot of friends that were girls. She had a lot of friends that were boys.
Yeah.
In college. And when we got married, that season ended.
That's right.
Like there's no text threads where I'm like having conversations with girls by myself. There's no Facebook messages. There's no instant mess. There's none of that. It is like she's now my best friend. She's my confidant. Nobody else is my confidant. And I think that goes into another thing, like the failure to leave and cleave, like still trying to hold on to mom and dad. And so you have an outlet to go, whine and complain about how your spouse did something you don't like. And so, of course, they're going to take your side.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have never done that. She has never done that. Mm-mm. Never ran to our parents because we had a fight. So you really you got to lock arms. And you got to realize that it is us against the world. We matter more than they.
Yeah, and if you need somebody to talk to, like you need a Christian couple, and maybe your parents are those people for you, but you can also find an older married couple that they've gone the distance and ask them to go to dinner with you and like kind of pair up with you and counsel you. Like it can be your parents, but sometimes it's nice to have like an outside perspective of somebody who doesn't know you. And if you don't know anybody, I know like 10 plus more than that married couples that I would recommend.
And we're 100% vulnerable with each other. She
Yeah.
has my phone. She has my passwords. I have her phone. I have her passwords. I know her Social Security number better than she does.
He does. That's true.
But we're not hiding anything, and so I think that's really important. And that's the thing that gets sad is when you see people have these. What's that phrase? Your work wife. That's like, I hate that. No. You don't have a work wife. You don't have a work husband.
Yeah.
Please stop doing that. First Fervors didn't get that, so I don't know what that says about you all, but I'm just saying. But anyway.
Yeah, and I will say it's really hard not to be selfish as people. Like, it is really hard. Mm-hmm. And you have to go into marriage knowing that whatever you feel selfish about, you're about to let that thing go.
Yeah.
There are so many things that either of us have had to give up because it wasn't the right thing for both of us.
Yeah.
And that is a really hard thing.
Yeah.
Like, to be like, I've always done this, and for that person, for your spouse to be like, well,
I got a good example,
Yeah.
and that would be the house.
Oh, that was a terrible.
Yeah. We bought land. I was going to build a house. I was going to GC it. I had experience doing that, and that was the biggest fights of our life.
Yeah.
And eventually,
It's a long time ago.
And I didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to sell the land. I wanted to build a house. I had picked out every fixture, every piece of tile, every flooring. I knew exactly what the house was going to look like. And so when I said no to building the house, I basically had to divorce myself from every decision I had made along the way. And she picked out a house, and we sat down with, who did we sit down with?
Ron and Linda.
Ron and Linda, Park House. And we said, this is what we're going through. This is what the strife is causing. What should we do? And she had found a house, and I was like, fine, I'm doing whatever. And they gave us some wise counsel. We sold the land. We bought the house. Was not happy about it. And it ended up being the best thing. She was right. I was wrong. And I'm so glad that I didn't dig my heels in. I want to give you a couple verses.
Please.
Song of Songs says, catch for us the little foxes that ruin the vineyards, our vineyard that are in full bloom. The idea is you got to catch the small things before they become big things.
Yeah.
There's going to be, the enemy, like I said this a couple weeks ago, the enemy wants to destroy the thing that represents Christ and his church. And so you need to be aggressive in rooting out those things. And then also, Peter says, above all, love each other deeply because love covers a multitude of sins. You're not married to the perfect person, and you never are going to find the perfect person. And so there's going to be a lot of love and a lot of forgiveness that has to happen. And the thing that roots you in that is love.
Yeah, and when he was talking about the house, it made me think of this. Sometimes you got to let the pressure out of the pressure cooker. That's like my favorite thing to say. The house was the pressure cooker. Yeah. And sometimes you got to identify what is the thing that's cooking us right now, yeah. And it's this. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not each other.
We look back now and we realize if we had bought that house, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it's true.
Because we would never have left.
And we're so glad you're here.
Oh.
You kind of touched on this when you talked about leaving and cleaving and boundaries, but we had a very specific question. So I'm 27 with my own family. I'm still getting verbally and emotionally abused by my stepdad, and my mother tends to just ignore it. At what point do I cut off that part of my family to protect my peace, my daughter, and my husband?
Proverbs says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. There's relationships. I'm just going to give you permission about some things. There's relationships that many may look at me and go, you should have been a better Christian and should have been okay with that relationship. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm human, and I could not manage my emotions. I could not manage the hurt. I could not. And so the best thing for me and my family was to cut that relationship because I was not mature enough to work through it. And I needed to allow God to do some things isolated. There's a trio of books I want to recommend, and they're all by Henry Cloud. He wrote a book called Safe People about how you can identify who the safe people are in your life and who the people that aren't safe in your life, because we all have people in our life that aren't safe, right? Then he wrote a book called Boundaries. You need to read the book on boundaries. I can't tell you how much this, like, boundaries in dating, boundaries in marriage, boundaries, because you've got to figure out what those boundaries are. And when we got married, we drew a boundary around ourselves where it was everybody in this circle is more important than everybody outside the circle. And so we were going to make decisions that were the best for us as a new unit, right? Then the third one is, when you figure out boundaries, he wrote a book called Necessary Endings. Sometimes you're going to have to end some things in your life. That's not easy, but we've got to normalize that. We have endings 4 times a year. It's called winter, summer, fall, and spring. And we don't lose our minds when those things end. We just know that the next season is here. And so there has been some things that we have done in our relationship where it probably was not popular. I know it wasn't popular, but we carved out some really hard boundaries, and we said, we are not going you're not coming any further, we're not going any further. We're making the decision that's best for her and I and for the boys. And I don't care, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be, I just don't care about everybody else. I'm responsible for this family.
Yeah, so. I was going to say, and when you're talking about like children in this scenario, that's number one. Yeah. Like it sort of levels up like what your response has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know we've made decisions where we're like, we're going to protect what our boys see. We're going to protect the influence the boys have around them.
Yeah.
So.
And I would tell you, I probably carried that out to the extreme, but, and this is off topic a little bit, but even if we were going to somebody's house when our kids were younger, when tablets were first a thing,
yeah,
I would tell my kids, you're not allowed to sit next to the kids at small group who have tablets because I don't know what their parents let on their tablets. Like, we're not opening that. And it sounds extreme, but I was, these were my boys. And they're not, we're deciding right now what's appropriate.
I will say this, too.
It's really off topic, I'm sorry.
Now you got me off topic. Sorry, second service. I remember we made a lot of unpopular decisions when we had kids.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And nobody agreed with them. And I don't care. And I am so glad we made those decisions.
Yeah.
I am so glad we made those decisions. I am so glad that we focused on them and we protected them and we didn't run the roads with them. Even when they were babies, we're like, no, family's important. We are going to sit down and we are going to, I'm probably jumping ahead, we're going to have dinner every night at 5:30. Yeah. I was the one who got up out of my seat and went, it'll be here tomorrow, and walked out the door, and they'd be like, where are you going? It's 5 o'clock. I'm leaving.
It's not possible in every scenario for every family with every kind of work that's out there, but you can make that one thing your thing. Yeah. Like we do Saturday breakfast, or we go to lunch after church on Sundays, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good segue before you guys get too far ahead.
Yeah.
Let me transition, please. No, you're doing good. We're going to start our parenting questions, so we have a good many of these as well. A quick hitter to start us off: should I wait to have kids until I am financially ready?
No.
You will never be financially ready.
Psalm says that children are a heritage from the Lord. Blessed is the one whose quiver is full of them, like they're arrows. Like you get to shoot these kids out into the world. You'll never be financially ready. I think we wish we had started the process sooner. Yeah. Because you never know what you're going to run into, and so we had a lot of fertility problems, and so. Yeah, we wanted a busload. We got 2 boys who eat like a busload, but we wanted a busload, and that wasn't God's will for us. But we still wish we had started a little bit sooner. Yeah. And you figure it out. You just do. And
I mean, obviously, don't be dumb, right? DBD.
DBD. Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Write that down.
I use that a lot. DBD. What's your policy on this? DBD.
Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
So the next question is, I want my children to have their own faith because I know they will need their own and can't stand on mine alone. Besides prayer, how can I aid that process? How to keep your kids on a straight path during the younger years and teen years, and how do you model faith in a way that still impacts them as adults?
I mean, this is like everybody uses this phrase, but it's what's caught, not what's taught. So you can talk about Jesus and you can read the Bible stories and you can pray with your kids, but if what they see in your actions is different than what you're telling them, they will go with what you're showing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, I know it says besides prayer, but I'm just going to push on that. Who else is going to pray for your kids except you? There's somebody else praying for your kids. Like, it's your responsibility to pray for your kids. But we would normalize bedtime. So I'm going to get back to, like, the lens and order and, like, rhythms. Like, I think it's so important, especially when they're young, is find a healthy rhythm in your life that protects them and keeps them safe. Like, your home should be a home of peace, not a home of chaos. We have just, and I think it might be just who we are in our capacity, we just really stiff-armed that pretty hard as a couple. Like, we just didn't want to live that life. We saw other people live it. We're like, that's just not for us. And so we really try to create a safe space. We eat dinner at the same time every night. We would cut things out of our life if it was interfering with that. We'd pray over dinner every night. Our prayers at dinner are not like, a dissertation.
Oh, no. Sometimes it's, Jesus, thank you for this food. Amen.
Amen. I'm hungry. Let's eat. We would always tuck our kids into bed, and I would pray the same prayer over them. God bless Weston. God bless Wyatt. Anoint him. Let him grow in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. And that was our prayer every night. They probably could still recite it. And I think God is faithful to answer those prayers. So I don't know if that answers the question, but.
No, I think you guys did a really good job. I think as we are kind of talking about these.
Can I say something?
Please.
Can you show that picture of them?
Little.
I think this goes back to your question. They have been serving in the church since they were old enough to walk.
Yeah.
And
Can y'all tell which one's which?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wyatt's on the right, and he's the one going, why are you taking my picture?
Yeah.
When we did this, I think the fear that we had was that we were going to do this and the kids were going to hate the church. And I am grateful beyond words to know that as far as I can tell, the kids still love the church. Like last week, I was talking with somebody here, and I look over, and Wyatt and Weston were carrying a piece of stage. And they looked like they were having an okay time. I just really encourage you. I don't know what it is about this format, but it's making me feel like a little bit more bold than I typically do when I preach. Get your butts in church. Get in church. Don't be the family that's once every 6 weeks, once every 8 weeks. Like, make it part of who you are as a family and your rhythm. Yes. I saw a statistic that of baby boomers and millennials and Gen Xers and Gen Z is the generation that's going to church most often. Like, they're hungry. That they're going like once every 3 weeks, and the millennials are going to church like once every 8 weeks. Like, make church just like a part of who you are. Get involved in serving. Serve as a family. Like talk about church. Like, what did you learn? Like, what? Yeah, I'm just so passionate about that.
And
look at there.
Oh, yeah, that was here.
That's when we first moved here.
Yeah, so that's how young Wyatt was. But I was going to say that in age appropriateness, because it's not always appropriate, but we have shared prayer requests that we know that we're praying for other people or struggles that other people are having with our kids. We will say, please, I say Bob, sorry if Bob's here today. I'll say, Mr. Bob, he's really having a hard time. He's sick. We need to pray for him. And include them on those people that need prayer and make them a part of that, because when God answers prayers, that builds their faith too. So we don't have to keep everything a secret. And of course, there's some things that aren't appropriate to share, but there's plenty of things that are appropriate to share.
You guys have kind of touched on this, but to go into this specific question, what mistakes do parents commonly make when raising kids that show up later in adulthood?
It's living out of order, I think, is like the big one.
A rod and a reprimand impart wisdom, but a child left undisciplined disgraces its mother. I also give Ephesians 6:4. Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Parents, you're not called to be your kid's friend. Stop trying to be liked. Be their parent. Be the mom, be the dad, because your responsibility is to guide them, and you're going to lose control. We're going to get to this in a second, but when they're little, you got some control, right? And then the older that you get, they realize I got a mind of my own, right? And you want to be able to point them in the right direction. And so I think a home without discipline. And where do we get the word disciple from? Like, discipline is not like, come over here. For me, discipline was go out in the front yard and pick your switch. Like, we had a switch bush in the front yard. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Not at my house. His house growing up.
Yeah, at my house. Yeah, that's true. It was my mamaw. She's like, go out in the front yard and pick your switch. So I was like, ah. But the idea is that when you discipline your child, it's not punishment, because punishment is based in fear, right? It's discipline because it's based in love. And you want to get them pointed in the right direction. So I think a home that is undisciplined that's probably the thing you see the most to show up later on in life.
Yeah, going back to order, routine, and rhythms.
Yeah.
Okay, switching gears a little bit on this one. What advice do you have for step-parents?
So my parents are divorced. My parents have remarried. I was just talking to my stepmom, Debbie, because you can pray for my dad. He's had 2 CT. He fell last night. He's in the ER. He literally broke a vertebrae in his neck. I was talking to my stepmom because they're doing MRIs and all sorts of stuff. So please be praying for my dad. Great relationship with Debbie. Great relationship with my stepdad. I call him Pop. It took me forever to call him Pop because I was so over my dead body. Am I going to call you Pop? But the thing that
I call him Pop.
Yeah, you call him Pop. The thing that my stepdad, Jerry, and my stepmom, Debbie, did is they didn't come in and try to be something that they weren't. They allowed me the room to figure this out. They didn't try to impose their will on me. They gave me space. And because they did, I think I probably call my stepdad, Jerry, more than anybody about advice in life. Like, hey, what's going on? How do I do this? And what you're doing is you're building trust. And so just love them. Just build trust. I do think that there are different circumstances, or for every circumstance is different. I think you might have a relationship where I know people who are like, this is my stepdad, but it's the only father I ever knew, and I love him, and that's for all intent and purposes, my dad. That's great. A lot of times you just have to understand, where is the other parent in the relationship? Is it a good relationship? Are they present? My dad was present. It was a good relationship, and so Jerry just understood, I'm not your dad. I'm not going to try to be your dad. And so I really respect him for that. So,
great answers. Okay, switching gears again. This is adult children questions.
Yes.
So, how do you stay connected and build strong relationships with your adult children and their spouses without overstepping, knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, and how to give advice without pushing them away?
I think this is easier. Our boys are pretty much adults, but thinking of how my in-laws were with us is the best context. They have always extended the invite. They have not made us feel bad ever for not accepting the invite. Sometimes they're like, hey, we're going here. Do you want to go? And we're like, no. No, thanks. And sometimes it's, yeah.
This summer it's yeah.
The summer it's yeah. So, and it's been like, I love Jeremy's parents, both sets.
She talks to my mom more than I talk to my mom.
Yes. Yes. And if you are a man, call your mom if you can. Like,
Sorry, Mom.
hope my boys call me.
They really were. I think like one of the strategies we had as parents is we wanted to be home base. So we would get all the cool food. You know, we wanted kids over at our house.
If we could. Yeah.
If we could, like, you know, you want to order pizza, let's order pizza. Even still now, you know, Weston's like, can a bunch of people come over? I'm like, order pizzas, let's go. And then I try to stay out of their hair, or do what every good dads do is like try to embarrass them, you know, deeply.
Exactly.
But even as adults, my mom and stepdad really worked to be home base, right? They're really trying to make it a safe place to be, and they have never, ever interjected themselves into our relationship, but they've always made themselves available. So they're always there for advice, but they've never just like, hey, I want to talk to you about how you're doing this, and I don't agree with it.
And to help. Like, I can't tell you how many times all three sets of parents involved in our lives have helped us.
Yeah.
And we will call and we will ask. And I'm going to tell you, when my kids were little, I left a ridiculous instruction manual for my kids. It was
Pages.
I cannot believe that I did this, y'all. It was like, I mean, how to cut the grapes up. That was me. So,
Yeah.
And they did not even, like, they didn't flinch.
Yeah. I had irrational fears about the kids choking.
Jeremy still has irrational fears
Yes,
about
I
the kids choking.
Balloons inside of cars. I can't do it. You know, kids eating hot dogs when we're not there freaks me out. Like, we're going to cut
If
the
we
hot
ever had a babysitter and for some reason I left the boys, like the corn dogs on the stick, you know what I'm talking about? The kind that you buy in the freezer section. We would be on a date at a restaurant and Jeremy would say, what did you leave for them to eat? And I would say, you know, like a corn dog. And he was like, I cannot. Will you text the babysitter and see if they're done eating dinner? I'm like, I am not doing that. Like, I am not.
That was bad. That was bad.
Yeah.
It's sweet though. It's sweet though. But eventually, you do have to stop cutting their grapes. And,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about.
I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Okay.
sure. Okay. Speaking of adult children, how do you set healthy boundaries with adult children around finances, time, and involvement? And how do you trust God when you disagree with their decisions or watch them drift from their faith?
Oh, that's really hard.
There's that phrase again, how do I trust God in this season, right? And so it just keeps coming back to that. I don't know how I'm going to feel when Wyatt and his future wife do something I hate or don't like or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. I'm not in control anymore. So there was a season where I was in control, and now I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I think you just have to trust God in that season and go back to just being available if they need you.
Yeah.
I think there's a great example of this in my personal life. My brother, we nearly lost him with some heavy drug addiction. Like, I thought we were going to lose him. I knew we were. And we had a lot of prayer. My mom went to go visit him, couldn't talk any sense into him. My dad very much is authoritarian. I mean, he is like, you walk the line with my dad. He went out there to visit, and it crushed him what he saw, and he called me. When your parents call you for advice, that's a weird flip of the relationship. And he called me. He's like, "What do I do?" And I don't know. This wasn't any like personal wisdom. I feel like this was just God deposited in the moment. And I told him, I said, "Dad, just be his dad. Just love him and be available to him, and just be his dad. Don't try to talk any sense into him. Don't try to control him. You can't.
Yeah.
You just got to be a loving father in that moment." So.
Yeah, and they're doing great now.
Yeah.
They've actually been here, and they are expecting a baby
Another one, a second one.
next month.
Yes, next month.
Yeah.
Next month? Wow,
Yeah.
okay. Yes. I think that just trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways submit to him. He will guide your paths.
Yeah, and never underestimate just the power of praying for your kids.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't feel like you can move the needle with them, God can.
Yeah.
He can do anything.
Yeah.
So,
Can I say something too? This is kind of a personal anecdote, but I lost both of my grandparents on my dad's side this past year, and when we were cleaning out their house, they were notorious for their prayer list on legal pads.
yeah.
And going in as they were cleaning them out, I mean, there was boxes and boxes full of my name being written down on a piece of paper that I knew that they were praying for me.
Love that.
And you can see the dates at the top. I can see when I got married and Jake's name got added to that list. And when I look at those dates, there were seasons when I wasn't in church. I wasn't walking the life that they were probably praying that I was.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that they didn't stop praying. And I think that I was protected from a lot of things that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I received a lot of blessings from those prayers that I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Just as an encouragement to those people with adult kids, I believe that my grandparents' prayers for me really did aid in bringing me back into church and why I'm here today too.
Yeah,
So
I love that. Love that.
Love that.
those are our parenting questions, but we did want to plug a couple
Yeah.
of things if that wasn't enough for you. We've got next week.
Yeah, next week, a really good friend of mine, his name's Birchman Paul. Paul's his last name. Birchman is his first name. And
You
can-
sang a song of his today.
Yeah,
you didn't
sang-
know it.
Yeah, it's the gospel, the second song that we sang is the one that he wrote, and he's going to come talk about parenting next week. You can call him Birch, great guy. I love
Parenting,
him.
family, all the things.
Yeah, great guy, and so he's going to be here. And then also we have the family discipleship workshop is going to be May the 16th. Please sign up for that. We want to come alongside of you and help you, and help make you. We're called to make disciples. Let's start in our own home.
Yeah.
And it's been a great opportunity. It's free too, right? It's free. We charge
Yes.
anything for that? No,
I think it's free.
I think it's free. It's
It's
free. Then
now.
you have no
If
reason
it wasn't
not
before,
to come.
it is now.
Yeah.
Okay, just to wrap us up, we've got 2 quick questions.
Okay.
But what scriptures would you recommend anchoring both marriage and parenting in?
You want to give those?
I'll do my favorite one.
What's yours?
Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as you are working for the Lord. That's Colossians. That is my favorite verse. And I say it all the time. I don't care if it's your job or if it's your marriage or parenting. You do it as unto the Lord. And we're not doing it for personal gain. So there's a million things you're going to be asked to do as a spouse, as a human being. And the most value comes out of it when you're doing it as unto the Lord and not for gain.
Yeah. I'll go back to what we said a couple weeks ago, Genesis 2:24. This is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. I think that, and then also the obvious, Joshua, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Make a conscious decision. This is who we're going to be. I remember dropping the kids off at school. I would say, remember who you are, you're a pick well, and whose you are, you're God's child. And let that filter every decision you make. Yeah.
It's great. Last question to close us out.
Yep.
How do you personally navigate seasons where prayers for your family seem unanswered?
Oh, man, I think there's been a lot of seasons where we were praying for some things and we were just like, is God, where are you, right? I would say in those seasons, my encouragement for you would be what happened for us, which is don't bear that season of prayer alone.
Yeah.
I'll push on you a little bit. There's a thing called holy discontent, where you're just not quite satisfied with, you have a lot to be thankful for, but you're also just not quite satisfied. And I think for you as a congregation, I have a little bit of holy discontent. I'm not quite satisfied with you.
It's okay. You're still getting a good grade. It's fine.
And what I mean by that is I think a lot of times I want things for you more than you want for yourself. And what I'm talking about is our time of prayer that we make available every Sunday. And there's so many Sundays where I look over and we have a full house and we have an empty prayer altar. And I don't understand it. I just know the power of prayer. And I also know that probably 99.999% of us have something we're praying for or believing God for or need help for. Why aren't we taking advantage of it? So don't bear that prayer burden alone. Like go and I would love Abigail to be like, we got to sing, we got to keep singing. Like people keep wanting prayer. Like that's what I want. I want us to be a house of prayer. I want us to be a house of worship. I want us to believe. Like what is one of the things we're going to go over, I'm sorry. One of the things I was really challenged on this past week was dreaming again. Like believing God for big things again. Believing God for miracles. Like believe the impossible for your family. Believe the impossible for your kids. Believe the impossible for your marriage. And pray like it. And then get somebody with you, like when your prayer life is weak, get somebody with you that will rain down heaven on your behalf. Yeah. Like I have my mama, like I'd call her and I'd be like, where's that red phone at? I need you to call up God and tell him what I need. And she'd do it. I know that we would not be here now if there weren't a team of people praying for us. Yeah. And there were seasons when we first got here where I had people on an email and I would tell them what I'm going through, what I'm struggling with, what I'm praying for, and they would surround me in prayer. Countless
times since we've been married that we've had to call or text a group of people and say, we need you to pray. And I mean, without number, I cannot, it's happened so many times.
Yeah, for sure. Lamentations says this, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning, great is your faithfulness. So when you feel like your family, like those prayers aren't being answered, just lean into that and understand that in this Christ life, there's a thing that we all have to do, and we hate it, and it's called waiting. Wait upon the Lord. Wait. And we're impatient. And God's calling us to be patient in him and what only he can do. So lean into him and get some people to bear that burden with you. Cool? Thank you for this.
Thank you,
Marion.
Marion, great job.
Such a good job.
Great job to you guys. This was fun. I'm glad we got to do it.